All right, what's going on, LBHT crew? We're back here with another video. Look, I know we said we are going to do a weekly recap of
And
the
we have.
NFL.
We'll count to game one.
We did one weekly recap video. This one is not going to be a weekly recap video. We were going to record, and we said, you know what? Let's do something a little bit different. All right. Listen, we like to cover the NFL. We like to cover NBA. We like to cover all that stuff, right? But I'm a Ravens fan. B's a Panthers fan. Okay. We want to do some videos where we're putting a little focus on those teams. So, the fans of those teams that come and support every week are getting that little extra from us. You get that from us from the LBHT show, but we're going through a stream of topics. So we want to take a little time to discuss these things in a short video like this. So, the Panthers, obviously, not off to a great start, B. 0-5, likely to be 0-6. Okay.
In a way, the class of the league, though, they are the only winless team in the NFL. So,
yeah.
much like the old Bills receiver, peerless.
So, okay, look. How can they turn things around? Obviously, you're not looking for playoffs, right? But you're looking to be competitive and to not give the Chicago Bears the number 1 and number 2 picks in the draft, right? So what can the Panthers do to kind of turn things around and get Bryce Young going a little bit more?
I think number one, and this is always going to be the case for any team in the league. The line just has to play consistently, and they played better this week than they had previously. But they just need consistent play up front from those guys, which is difficult to get when you have injuries. Obviously Austin Corbett's still out. Brady Christensen, Chandler Zavala got hurt in this game. He hurt his neck. But they just, you have to have consistent play up front. You have to be able to protect your quarterback. You got to be able to open up holes in the run game to get anything going. Outside of that, I think they need Frank Reich to ease up on the reins a bit there and let your offensive coordinator do the offensive coordinator's job and call the plays. Because right now, Frank's doing that, and we'll put it lightly and say it's not working. He's not doing a great job with that. He needs to let that go. As far as Bryce, I think Bryce is doing just fine, considering the situation. With the lack of protection and the lack of weapons. But you can see that Bryce has the talent. He has it. You can see that he's a smart quarterback. You see he's a very accurate quarterback. You can see he's great in the pocket. He has the, he's not a Lamar Jackson type athlete, but he has enough athleticism to evade the rush, get outside the pocket when he needs to. He's just going to need time, and better weapons around him to really get the offense to take off. Which is kind of the big point there for Carolina is the lack of receiver talent.
Right.
Adam Thielen is doing what Adam Thielen can do. He's not the player that he used to be, but he's the most consistent guy out there for them. DJ Chark he's DJ Chark. You're not really expecting a whole lot from him, but that's good because you're not getting a whole lot either. Jonathan Mingo is in the same boat as Bryce Young. He needs some time to kind of get that consistency going. Terrace Marshall has been a massive disappointment. Didn't even play a snap this past week, which Frank Reich said was his fault. I mean, I guess, bro, like whatever.
Yeah, you're the coach. Okay, now talking about the wide receivers real quick. This is talk about lessons learned. Okay, I learned my lesson. Okay, stop projecting. Right, even though we say this on the show all the time, stop projecting what you think these players are going to do and look at it for what it is. Right. Mm-hmm. We did a lot of that with the Panthers this offseason. Mm-hmm. I thought Adam Thielen, he was good in the past. Last year, not as much. Right. Writing was on the wall. Coach Evans tried to tell us he was falling off. Right. And we thought he still had a little bit left in the tank. All right, fine. We were off on that. Okay. Jonathan Mingo, we thought, hey, this guy, second round pick, but first round talent, and listen, he could go into that, but second round for a reason. He still has some things that he needs to work on. He's not there yet. And DJ Chark, it's the same story with DJ Chark. Hey, when healthy, he could be this, but he's never healthy and he's never been great. So we definitely projected this wide receiver core to be something that it clearly isn't. So moving forward, you have to get guys that can play.
Yeah. But again, the line plays a role in that as well. Like Miles Sanders was a 1,200 yard back last season in Philly, but Philly has the best O line in the league.
Yes.
Right. And we just thought that the Panthers O line would be much better. And they haven't lived up to that at this point, but they are a very young O-line outside of Taylor Moton. So again, it's a waiting game a lot with the offense. They need time to just gel and grow and develop. There's stories out there that they're looking to bring in a number one wide receiver via trade before the deadline, which automatically makes people kind of think of T. Higgins, who we know that Cincinnati probably doesn't want to pay, and we know he wants his money. Now, outside of him, there aren't a ton of great options at wide receiver. That's something that had kind of passed them by at this point. But you call about Devontae Adams. Do not call about Mecole Hardman. The fact that they are looking to trade him. He was a healthy scratch this week. Do not call about him. Nobody wants that.
No.
You can call Tampa about Mike Evans. They probably won't want to trade him in division, but make the call anyway. But yeah, you just gotta call around the league and see who might be available. But like I said, ideally it would be T. Higgins, and you get him paid, and then he can grow with Bryce Young. Outside of that, the offense has been pretty good up until this game. I think they have as well on the defensive side, and especially now with all the injuries that have hit that side of the ball. Obviously Shaq Thompson's out for the season. J.C. Horn has been out for an extended period with the hamstring injury. Xavier Woods is out with a hamstring injury. They don't have the talent right now to stay really competitive. And you saw the wheels kind of come off against Detroit. Yeah. And granted, the offense turning the ball over was a part of that as well. But it's not going to get better with Miami coming up on the schedule next week. So I wouldn't expect too much out of the defense moving forward at this point, just because they're too banged up to really expect them to be that stout on that side of the ball when they weren't overly talented to begin with. But after this Miami loss, it's going to be a loss. It's probably going to be a bad one. They're going into the bye week, and I think that at that point is when you really want to switch over to Thomas Brown, the offensive coordinator, and have him, get comfortable starting to call the plays, and you really want to try and reset and come out like it's a new season after that bye week, because they're 0-5 right now. Will probably be 0-6, but that's not the end of the world. Coming out of the bye, that you got some very winnable games with Houston, Indianapolis, and Chicago. They could win all three of those. Now, I mean, that's not a guarantee. Obviously, they're 0-5. They haven't beaten anybody, but those three aren't very good teams. Now, Dallas is another story. But after that, it's Tampa, New Orleans, Atlanta, Green Bay. Right, that's 4 more games against teams who aren't particularly good. So things should be looking up for Carolina in the second half of the season. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to, go on some huge win streak or anything, but there are some wins in there.
There's a lot of winnable games there. Yes. Yeah. And look, like you said, coming out the bye week with this coaching staff, and I have a lot of faith in this coaching staff. I want to see what they can get turned around. Bye week plus the trade deadline, which is what, October
31st.
October 31st, Halloween. Yes. So I mean, there should be a small revamp a little bit coming off the bye week, or at least coming after the trade deadline. So let's see what this team does moving forward. Any last thoughts, B?
I know that CJ Stroud has looked fantastic in Houston. He's got, I think, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's over 1,200 yards already. They've won a few games that people didn't really think they had a chance to win. They look much better than expected. Right. Anthony Richardson has had his moments as well, despite the several injuries that he's had up to this point. But I would not, if our Panthers fans, would not lose faith in Bryce. He clearly has the ability, and he has the most important things that you need in your quarterback, which are, the accuracy, the anticipation, the kind of the nuance in the pocket. Like, he has those things that are difficult to get. He doesn't have the big athleticism of Anthony Richardson. He doesn't have a huge arm, right? Obviously, I mean, I don't have to say, but he doesn't have the size. But as the talent around him gets better, and the players around him get more consistent, I think you're going to see that offense really, really take off.
All right. Well, that's our quick wrap up of what's going on with the Panthers through 5 weeks. Not good, but there's hope, right? I mean, of course there's hope. I mean, he's a rookie. Okay. So we're looking at the positives and how the team can improve. Too early, way too early to be calling anybody a bust. That includes Ekwonu. Ekwonu doesn't look great, but too early to call him a bust. Let's see what these guys can do. All right. So it's just about making improvements week after week, and we'll see what happens. But you want more of this? Make sure you subscribe to us. Check out our show on Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, the LBHT show. We cover Ravens, Panthers, and news from around the NFL, as well as NBA and combat sports. All right, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Hit a like on this video, and if you are really feeling the content, right? Patreon.com/LBHT show is where you can get more bonus content. Okay, we got the overtime show. We got the Discord. We got all kinds of extra content for you over there. So go ahead and check it out. But that is it for this video, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.